What's up, guys? So if you don't have 35 minutes to sit here and watch this video, I'm going to include a little link in the description where I'll basically have a checklist of like everything I talk about in the video. So it's like a couple of sheets. I'll like summarize it, condense it, so you can just kind of mark a little check if you have all these things covered. And that way you also save 34 minutes of your time. And when you download it, I'll also grab your email. So every time I do anything worth like anything I think is cool, I'll try to send a newsletter out or something to you guys so you'll be like notified. But I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna focus more on like content creation and building up like a nice following and just seeing what people kind of want to learn more about first before I start doing that. But if you are interested, if you learn some stuff in here and you want to sign up for my newsletter, I'll definitely include something. Like I definitely read a lot of books and do other interesting things, and I'm like really big in self-development stuff, so I could just kind of start a blog and share what I learned. Kind of like Tim Ferriss, he's like my idol. But yeah, so feel free to check it out in the little description below. Other than that, enjoy the video and let me know what you guys think. Hey guys, how's it going? So today I'm just gonna make a quick video on things that you should be mindful for in Q4. Now I'm in a group chat where a lot of people, I guess, didn't really know the things that I was talking about, and they kind of recommended I make a video because they didn't know about it, and these guys are already making a couple thousand a day. So I thought if these guys don't know about it, it's a good chance a lot of other people won't know about it. And I don't usually see a lot of other people even really talk about this stuff in groups. If they do and you already know it, congratulations. But if this is like your first year getting into e-commerce, or if you just want to check out the content, check it out and let me know how it goes for you. So one big thing I notice is people that get started in this stuff, they make huge numbers in Q4, but January, February, April, they're like wiped out. Like it's a whole nother beast to like stay in the business for like a full 2 years. That I kind of count like every 2 years as like one cycle to kind of get past. A lot of people just kind of find a couple winners and everything sells in Q4, so it's like it's kind of given they'll make a bunch of courses and then they get burnt out by like chargebacks that like come the following year, and that's kind of why they have to make courses on getting themselves out of debt. So a lot of people, they get rich and they basically end up wiping out. So you really want to be mindful of where you're getting your information from. So first thing to figure out in Q4 is what is your scale, like where you're starting out. Like if you're making like less than 40 grand a month, and you're probably not gonna have most of these problems, because like I noticed among my friends that when you're like pushing more than 40K a month in revenue, that's when you start getting issues, like just random ones, like your vendors maybe being delayed because they're not producing products fast enough, and that's like per product, by the way. Revenue wise, you might also have some issues if you're starting to push past like 50-60K a month, and it's like your first store and you don't have enough history with your current payment processor. Then that's like around the time when they like kind of put you under manual review and kind of check out your business a bit more. So one really big thing you should probably be doing in Q4 is diversifying your business. So you don't want to have just like one winner, you want to have like multiple. So for example, if you have like one winner, let's say it's like some sort of like health product. I'm gonna count this gum as like a health product, and for the first 2 weeks you're killing it, you're making like 14K a day off of it. You're just blasting it, you're scaling it, and then literally the next day you wake up and like something went wrong in your site or whatever, and your sales completely crashed. Then you try to restart the product and then nothing happens, and then boom, you're basically wiped out for the whole Q4. So in Q3 is really when you want to like start finalizing your stuff for Q4. So your vendors, your sourcing agents, all that stuff, you should kind of have like down by Q3. And then that's when in Q4 you have like that foundation kind of built up. But if you're in Q4, you don't have any winners. Let's say there's still no big deal. Like you can still get out of this with some nice change, and hopefully with not too many issues. So the issues usually start when you have like crazy spikes or crazy dips. So it's like if you're going up and down, like one day you make like 5 grand, the next day you make like a grand, the next day you make like 10 grand, the day after that you're like, or like a couple days after that you're at like 1 grand. Like that's kind of volatile. It's like if you look at stock markets, when you see giant spikes like that, most times that's considered like something fishy is definitely going on over there. So that's why banks also work the same way. They're very what's the word? They don't like risk. Nobody likes risk, but these guys, since they have like so much experience, they're like really anal about not having risks. So you really want to get some sort of agent or representative that you can kind of just contact directly, be like, hey, we found some good campaigns and we're going to be really pushing ad spend, so we're expecting to double, triple, or even quadruple our revenue. Can you please move us up? Can you just make sure that if there's any sort of paperwork you need, anything that can cause the account to be paused, that we get that taken care of now, and that way we don't have to worry about it later. So the way it works is your account kind of gets segmented into different ranks. It's the same thing with your Facebook ad accounts. It's like depending on how much money you make, you're going to be classified in like a different rank. So when you start hitting numbers that kind of push you above your rank, they hold your stuff, they review everything and all that stuff. And in Q4, every day is like huge. So you definitely want to take care of that beforehand. And even if you're like starting out, you should be able to get like some sort of like person to like at least email. Like even emailing them a couple days in advance is gonna be huge, because what they'll look for is being proactive and like having like a good relationship with the bank. That's one thing I kind of had to learn the hard way. So hopefully you guys don't have that problem. So again, this is just talking about payment processors. Make sure you get some sort of rep, and you might want to even look into having multiple payment processors like ready to go. Maybe even like a whole new store with your best products and like a completely different payment processor, just in case like something gets locked. You can literally just transfer everything over like within like an hour, a couple of minutes, and just continue the sales. The cost of doing that is what, like maybe $100-$200 a month, because you have like that $80 Shopify plan, and then you have like a merchant processor, which I think like authorized, I think doesn't even really have a setup fee or whatever, or maybe it's like $20 a month or something really cheap. But the cost of like setting all that stuff is nothing compared to the peace of mind that you get. Like even if you do get like frozen or whatever, you can literally just kind of hop over to the next thing until your first one kind of gets sorted out. Now for Shopify, I created a new store last month, and I found out after 5 orders, or 5 to 7 orders, they kind of ask you for paperwork. So you want to like get those couple, if you're gonna do like the whole backup store thing, which I'd recommend if you're doing like 50K a month at least, that you go ahead and get those 5 orders like kind of going. Like maybe just send like retargeting traffic or something towards that site. And you definitely want to have multiple credit cards or debit cards ready to go for your ads, because if you have like one problem with a credit card, like your Facebook gets messed up, or like your merchant processor gets messed up, you can just kind of switch over to the next card. And you can do that with having employee cards. So you can like make one card, like you have your main card, and then you can make an employee card for like your parents or like a relative, and then you could set up your stuff through them, and that'll still count as like a fresh credit card. You should also do that for your VAs, by the way. Traffic. You definitely want to have multiple ad accounts, business managers. Again, like like there's a whole thing of like risk management, and there's also for scaling, like different campaigns, products, everything works completely different in different business managers and different ad accounts. So yeah, you definitely want to have as many as you can. They did recently start pausing and like not letting you able to use ad accounts if you haven't been like active on them. I've had a couple that like uh, were stopped, and I can't make any new ad accounts, or not make new ad accounts, but I can't publish ads there anymore because it's been an inactive account. And from what I have seen from my personal ad accounts, it's like even if you spend like $100 in the past like year, that you shouldn't have that problem. It's just for ad accounts that are just kind of sitting around. And one big thing is set up rules. Facebook has those rules built in, but this is a kind of a big one because in Q4, Facebook is ridiculously like preoccupied with just making sure their stuff doesn't like crash. So their algorithm like prematurely locks accounts, bans accounts. Like last Q4, especially in December, was like a disaster. I remember I couldn't even publish ads for like 3 weeks, and I was very mad about that because it's like I spent so much money. It's like now I can't even publish ads on like two of my business managers, and I only had two back then. And both of them were experiencing like the same problems. And I think they were just doing that because like the big brands were like really pumping the numbers in December, so it's like a lot of people had similar problems. So definitely have backup stuff ready to go. But the thing with the rules is you want to have a rule set up for all your campaigns that once they become unprofitable over the past like 3 to 5 days, maybe even 7 days, depending on like how your ad account works, that they pause. This is because if you get locked out of your account, once your ads become unprofitable, they'll stop spending money. A lot of my friends, they got locked out of their ad accounts and their ads would still keep spending money. And that is not a fun place to be in because then you have to call your credit card, be like, hey, you need to stop these Facebook spends. And then then you owe like Facebook money, and then like that's like a whole other thing that you don't want to get into. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that, but I also have like rules set up for stopping ads once they're unprofitable. Because I noticed when I was working with my first coach, I had a really bad habit of letting ad sets stay on for too long too, where they're like, I'm spending like $200 per purchase, and for some reason I'm like, I need the data or whatever. So you definitely want to have clear rules set up for that stuff. And another way to like kind of help with that is having multiple people in your ad account. You can have, I think, like 2 Facebook accounts, maybe even 3, or you can like set up your sister's or your parents' ad account or your accounts, and then just add them as an admin to your ad account. So if you get locked out or you have problems with your personal Facebook, because I have a friend that likes to get really engaged in debates on Facebook, and he tends to get locked out of Facebook a lot, which I think is like, why do you do that if you do Facebook ads? Because that's hugely bad or whatever. But if that happens, you can just log on to somebody else's account, go to your ads manager, just kind of manage it. But that's like kind of a plan B for like your rules not being set up, or if you forget to do that. So you have like 2 fail safes there. And because it's Q4, you really want to be like hammering in as many traffic channels as you can afford to really push right now. So here's some examples of other channels like Google AdWords, Google PLA, Instagram. Check your demographics to just see like it matches with your ideal avatar. YouTube, native ads, email, Snapchat, WhatsApp recently started doing ads, but it's like kind of funky. I haven't really looked too much into it yet, but I have been hit with a couple things. That's why I kind of found out. There's also private apps like Tinder, or like, you just basically figure out what your demographic is into, what apps they use, and then you can just reach out and like really get yourself get yourself in there. And if you know any more, post it down in the comments for everybody else to check out. That's like the big thing of like this stuff is like, especially if you're branding, you want to be what they call omnipresent. So it's like if they see your ad on one thing, you're basically retargeted it on like every other piece of technology that your customer is going to go to for some time, because that's how you get the sales. So one other thing is you want to have multiple vendors. Now most of this presentation, I guess you can call it, it's basically on risk management. So you definitely just want to have multiples, everything. I'm talking 3 to 5 at least. Like 1 or 2 vendors, that's like, no, 3 to 5 minimum. But maybe even from like different websites and stuff. Because a lot of the times you find out like some of the vendors, even if they're giving you like really good pricing, they could be just middlemen or people that are like kind of drop shipping or like getting rid of like old inventory. So you definitely want to have multiple vendors. And in Q4, it's like a lot of people just randomly stop responding to you. And when you have 1,000 orders to fulfill and you have 5 vendors that aren't responding, that's not a fun place to be in. That's where I was last Q4. And that's why I was like kind of happy but kind of mad that I couldn't run ads in December, at least on Facebook. So I'm like kind of ended up helping out in the long run. So in Q4, you really want to be talking with them directly as much as you can. That's literally just, kind of safeguarding the fact that they don't just ghost you. Maybe even like build some sort of relationship with them, like as a friend kind of thing, in like Q3, Q2, Q1. This is huge in the long run because then they start hitting you up with like new products that they have that like nobody else usually knows about. Or if they give you like their best sellers or whatever that other people are scaling. So this is way more than just, some sort of safeguard or whatever. And you can also use this to kind of request better deals because they haggle like crazy. Let me give you a quick little video example. Is it in this one? Here it is. So we're gonna talk over here. So you can see like how they haggle. You can check out this video. I'll put a link in this video in the description too if you don't want to watch it now. You can like skip over it.
How much for these Dolce & Gabbanas?
Let's fast forward this a little bit.
Is that alright? Okay. How much are they? Oh, that's okay. I don't want to spend that much. No. I would say like 75. I'm sorry. They're just
like the original about like 2000 something.
Yeah, but it's not the same material.
No.
Sorry, I don't want to.
This is not the cheaper one.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and this with the leather.
Yeah, I don't need them that bad. I'm sorry. I can do like 100 for them. 100.
Yeah, if you include my price, I consider.
I can do like 150.
You know this one, the commercial, but it's about like 2000 or something.
Yeah. Right. That's not the shop.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm only gonna pay 200. Sorry, I'm only gonna pay 200. I'm sorry, it's not like real though. It's not the original. Sorry, I can only just 200. Can you do 200? No. Okay. Okay. I'll do 250. 250. Can you do 250? Maybe 250. I can only do 250. 250? 280? Fine, I'll do 280. Okay. Yeah, I've lived in China.
So yeah, these definitely don't be afraid to haggle. I just pulled a random example in that video, but like the whole video is like his experience in China. I don't even know who he is or whatever. But a lot of people, every dollar for them, they make off you is like a dollar you can save, and like vice versa. So you definitely want to, every like batch order you do, always haggle for a better price before you place it. And if you're at scale, definitely do like bulk orders and third-party fulfillment, because that's just, more risk management, and it looks a lot better if anything happens. They're like, oh yeah, you actually had a warehouse that you're taking care of the customer. That's what people really look out for. It's like, are you taking care of your customers? And as long as you take care of your customers, you got no problems. And speaking of that, customer service. Next one, make sure you hire extra VAs, especially in Q4. You definitely want to start hiring them near the end of Q2, and because then they have like a couple months to kind of get used to how you kind of work. So by Q4, they're like up to speed, ready to go. And what I like to do is like I hire 2 VAs, and I always have them like kind of work together. And then whenever I hire new VAs, I kind of put them in a group chat so they can like ask each other questions, and they kind of train each other as they kind of go along. And this saves so much time. It's hilarious. And when you start doing that in Q4, it's like, so when you have like 2 or 3 VAs that like work for you, depending on your scale, obviously, like when you bring on a couple new ones at the start of Q4, just put them in a group chat, and then they can like kind of catch the other person up to speed, and you can give like the VAs that kind of did the training for you like a $5-10 bonus as like a just as a bonus for like a thank you for saving you time. So you definitely want to give like your original staff holiday bonuses, and you can let them know it's like a performance-based bonus. So as you know, like a bonus for training your new employees, or just kind of going above and beyond, like kind of vet their work, see like how much effort they're putting into it. You can kind of tell how much effort goes into their job depending on how much attention to detail they kind of put in there. And the more better the results, the bigger of a bonus you should kind of give them, because it kind of solidifies like or it's like positive reinforcement, so they want to do that more for you. And you definitely want to have all of your systems like ready to rock, like in paper, like on paper. It's like everything's optimized to the best of your ability by the end of Q3. So by Q4 you can like focus on the important things instead of like your back end. Technically, customer service management, all this stuff is kind of back end stuff, and a lot of people don't usually talk about it. That's why I kind of thought it might be a good idea to like make a video just kind of diving deep into this. So more risk management stuff, just have a backup store. I think I already talked about it, especially if you're pushing volume. Have your reps, even maybe get them on speed dial. Just make sure they're aware of like all your stuff, especially when you're scaling. One big thing is have all of your tracking information saved in an Excel sheet somewhere, because I've always noticed the last 2-3 years is like between March and April, you get a flood of chargebacks. It's always like right before you have to do your taxes, and you get like it could just be like you get chargebacks before, and then they kind of come in paper form around then. Because I didn't use Shopify payments the last 2 years, I had like a different payment processor from Bank of America, because they're better with like higher volume people, I think. Plus I didn't like working with Shopify payments that much at the time, but I think they're better now, so I'm gonna give them a chance this year, see how it goes. So for me personally, I noticed there's like a giant spike over there, so you definitely want to have all the information saved. Plus I guess it's like an extra security or safety for your taxes. So another thing I actually want to include in here is make sure you're putting aside 33 to 37% of your net profits aside for taxes, your yearly taxes. Like you're probably not gonna end up like, I mean, again, kind of depends on your scale, and your accountant probably knows more, but like last year I didn't really put aside too much, because I'm like, oh, like I'll just cover that with my January like profits or whatever. But I ended up being in a higher tax bracket than I kind of planned for, so that was kind of a stressful month in January. I had to like really kind of work, because I don't like working. I mean, who likes working? So just be proactive, put that thing aside. I didn't include that in here, but I'll definitely include that in the checklist. So one thing I want to talk about is like debugging from, this is going to be mostly like Facebook related. So last year there were a lot of problems with Facebook in Q4 because of how many people are on the platform, and everybody's pushing ad spend, so things are breaking. So that's why, again, have your reps have email support with somebody, or have multiple ad accounts, multiple business managers. Literally pay like your freaking uncle like $50 to just like buy their ad account or business manager or access to their ads and stuff. And so you don't have to like worry about this kind of stuff. So last year when I was having all those problems, it's like I focused really heavy on email marketing and other traffic channels, and also retargeting. Like on Black Friday, none of my ad sets were like doing anything, because I'm getting like in the niches I was in was like very competitive. So it's like my ad spend wasn't hitting it, so I basically just focused on my DPAs and single funnel retargeting to just make some sales, and it ended up being like one of the best days like that whole month because of that. So and another thing is like after November, December is like kind of iffy to like sell in. It's like a lot of people I know, they don't even sell in December that much, just because like the shipping times with Christmas is just so close, and a lot of people just kind of use that to kind of do like fraudulent chargebacks like in the following year. So it's kind of up to you if you want to do that. last year I wasn't able to really push volume there, so it's like the sales that I had wasn't too bad, and I think I had like a 10% fraud rate in December, which is really high, but not really considering the volume that I did. So it's like there was a good amount of people. Plus the shipping time for me was kind of off, so a lot, and because of like how the chargeback system was set up, and my VA was like kind of busy just doing the accounting. It's like some of the chargebacks kind of weren't accounted for until they already had your product, and I just kind of included them in the fraud thing because they didn't like send the products back, so they got their money and the products. So you definitely want to have your systems and all that stuff in place. So I think 10%. I'm like overestimating how much it was, but it probably wasn't that bad. So in December and January, you really just want to focus on retargeting your customers, either via email or making lookalikes from custom audiences based off people you already sold to, and sell them like lower ticket stuff. So you don't want to sell like, you can push basically anything in Q4, but in January, February, Q1, you kind of want to focus on lighter stuff because people already like spent their monies most of the time. But that's not to say like brands don't kill it in these months either. It's definitely different strategies to go about it. But definitely retarget your customers. If you have good products, this is like another way to really check like the quality of your business, is when you're retargeting them, look at your customer repetition rate. That's a huge indicator of like seeing how good you're doing what you're doing. If it's like 20%, I think it's like, what's the average? I don't even know. Let me. I'll Google it later. But I think the average is like 12% for the industry. I'm assuming. Some businesses it's like nothing. Like those single product funnel type stores, it's like not even like 0.5% or something for most of them at scale for customer repetition rate. That means it's like it's not really like a long term or like stable thing. I mean, you could kind of push ad spend and do things to kind of make it do that, but to really make it a big business, you want that retention. It's way cheaper to sell to a customer you already acquired versus get a new customer and then try to sell them something again. So really focus on lookalikes in January and February, because like again, everybody's going to be like super funky results. Lookalikes usually stay somewhat solid in Q1. Like December last year for me was literally just all retargeting, and then I burnt out my lookalikes for January, so I had to like kind of restart everything and then focus more on building the retargeting to kind of get back in. Like January and February weren't too bad, but like in April, March was when like my retargeting stuff was like back up. Most of my money the last 2 years was basically retargeting. So maybe focus more on retargeting than prospecting. But then again, wasn't focusing too much on product research. I was kind of more focusing on optimizing traffic. So I was doing a whole bunch of stuff last year. So this, should you scale in December? Just kind of depends on your shipping times. If you can ship it in time, you can go for it. But I'd be very careful about your scaling. Like I can't even communicate it properly. Like I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're gonna do it, don't say I didn't warn you. What I like to do is like around these times, I provide like an extra gift to any big orders. So if, like I don't even mention it anywhere on the store to kind of like incentivize like higher average order cart values or whatever, because like so many people are abusing so much stuff in marketing these days. It's like I genuinely just want to like give people like a thank you for like people that made so like my average order value was like $140 because I was selling like 120 to like $99 item things mostly last year. I don't know. No, actually it was my average order was like $47 or $48, and I remember I like brought it up to like $150 from doing bundles and like really optimizing the cross and upsells and the email stuff. And then I would give them, if they did like a big order, I remember I had a couple like $1,000 orders, and I would just give them like maybe a necklace, maybe a ring, maybe like some sort of poster, something that wasn't too expensive within the category, like the niche of the things that they bought. So as an example, like there's a book right here for Tools of Titans, at my desk over here. So if somebody bought like a whole bunch of self-development books, I'll like see if there's like a new self-development book that's like less than like $3, $5 even. Like if they spent like $500 at my store, I'm like, you know, I'll buy like a $20-$30 book, and I'll throw it in there, no extra charge. Maybe even put like a little note in there, like handwritten or something, like, hey, thank you for your support in the brand, and as an extra gift to us, like, you know, happy holidays from us or whatever. Because so many people do, like, there's this whole thing that like blinds other people. Like I can kind of rant about this as a whole thing. Like people do so much marketing, it kind of blinds people from these like free bonuses. Like the people that sell courses, when they break down the value for like the videos that they already make, they're like I watch so many of those webinars, it drives me nuts. It's like, learn how to like put in your name in the right spot. It's a $500 value, but you get it for free. It's like, come on, dude. It's like that creates like a bad impact in the industry as a whole. But most people don't really think about the long term thing, because they just want to make their couple millions and then like go off and buy real estate or something. So you really want to like focus more on, even if you're doing a general store, try to make it as branded as possible. Just push your customer loyalty. And the bigger orders, when I was doing like my subscription boxes, I package them in gift wrap. You can do that and just put a sticker on it and ship that out. No complaints at all. It's like people like recommended their friends. It's like such a huge like what's the word? It came back to me tenfold, and I didn't advertise anything. Like, don't be a tryhard. You know, just do it because you want to take care of your people. That simple. Really focus on your product quality as well. If you have good product quality, good shipping times, go ahead and sell in December. But be careful. Again, biggest time of the year. Just you can on like the big days like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you can send 6, 12. Like one of my friends sent like 24 emails and like all these things, and he had like all these funnels set up, and he killed it like doing that. You can push it as much as you want to push it. Like you can push it to try to break the system. Like if this is the time to do that, and like, you know, the more impressions they get of you, the higher they are to kind of trust your brand. It's like I was reading some article the other day, kind of made me think. It's like the reason why we like our parrots so much is like because they have the most impressions on us than any other humans, and apparently that's what it is, which kind of made me think for a couple minutes. So retarget, target, be omnipresent on all the channels I listed before, as much as you can, you know, spend. Don't obviously like break even and don't profit to the point where you're like reinvesting that, because traffic costs are higher in Q4. So definitely focus on, you know, profit, but try to invest like an extra 10-20% profit into more channels or new channels. To wrap up, I do have a Facebook group. I'm not super active in it right now because it's like just kind of starting off, and I built it a while ago. But I do hop in. I try to hop in, you know, daily if there's anybody asking questions. Right now it's like 20 people in there, so not too many questions. When it gets to bigger scale, it'll be more active, obviously. So right now you can have more access to moi and just ask more questions. Let me know if you need an email marketing dude. One of my friends is starting his own company. Like he's already got a bunch of clients and he's killing it. He's doing like email marketing for like our inner circle already. And before like he goes like official with his website launch and like raises his prices, I can recommend you get to him, and he'll give you a decent deal. Actually, it's like a pretty good deal compared to what other people charge. It's like 10% of revenue, but can't really confirm that or, you know, hold that price depending on when this video comes out and when you watch it and all that jazz. And I do have a 20% off your monthly Shopify link. So if you're not selling on Shopify, this is, you know, the perfect time to hop on. Q4, everything sells. So I'll have the link in the description. What it does is it gives you 20% off your monthly bill, including apps. They don't make this discount link anymore. These are for like, you know, the OG people that have been on Shopify for a while. And like the other one I remember was like you get like $2,000 or something per sign up, which was nuts. And I was like, you know what? No, people are gonna be like me. They're gonna want to stick at it until they're profitable, and like really make it a business. And I've had like 70 people sign up with my affiliate link, and only one of them still sells today. Everybody else is like, they closed down their accounts and like gave up. So I would have made a lot more money kind of do that, but this provides more of like value to people that kind of use it. So I thought, you know, in the long run, again, taking care of my people, 20% off, way better. And you also get like a 14-day free trial. All right, so is there anything else that I didn't go over? I just minimized the thingy. I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, comments, thoughts, put them in the comments below, and subscribe for more content. So until next time, bye. Let me figure out how to stop this too. Oh, it's F10.